Is it on?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, the red light's on.
So there's this guy, and his name is the Crumb Dog Millionaire.
That's kind of long, so we'll just call him Crumb. So Crumb's this billionaire, and he's pretty wealthy. So he's got, cars and boats and girls and houses, and he's just this happy, wealthy guy. And he's at work one day, and he's sitting there, and he's like, I am just not happy anymore. So he goes to his boss, and he says, I'm not happy. And the boss says, I hear you. Why don't you take a vacation? He's like, yeah, I could use a vacation. And so he researches some vacations, and he decides to do this African safari thing. And so he's cutting through the jungle, and he comes to this clearing. And in this clearing, he finds Tarzan sitting there painting stripes on zebras. And Tarzan's just painting stripes, minding his own business. And Crumb goes, Tarzan, what are you doing here? And Tarzan goes, oh, I'm painting stripes. Never mind. What? I don't know how to be happy. I'm not sure how to be happy. And he said, here's what you do. You go to spot, and you find rare bird, and you take it back to country, and you sell it for much money. So the guy's like, oh yeah, I can do that. So he goes to the spot, and he's like, and he waits. And he waits for like 3 weeks, and he finally sees the bird, and he captures it. And he's like, okay, I got the bird. And so he goes back to the country, and he sells the bird. And he gets all this more money, and he doubles his cars and houses and boats and girls, and he's just happy again. But it didn't last. So he's at work a little while later, and he's sitting there, and he goes, man, I'm just not happy anymore. So he goes to his boss, and he tells him what's up, and his boss is like, the first time that African safari thing worked, so why don't you try that again? So he goes on an airplane, back to the jungle, back to that same spot where there's Tarzan painting stripes on zebras. And he's just, Tarzan, what are you doing, man? Never mind, it's not important. I don't know how to be happy. It didn't work. It worked for a little bit, but it didn't solve my problems. Oh, okay. Here's what you do. Go to this spot. Find an even rarer bird. Capture the bird and sell it in the United States. And so he goes to the spot, and he waits for like 3 months, and he's got this big beard. And he goes, and he captures the bird, and he sells it. Now he's got triple the houses, triple the cars, boats, women, all this money. And he's happy once more. And this happiness lasts him for a long time, until a little while later. So he goes to his boss, and he says, I'm still not happy. And his boss is like, well, why don't you take one more vacation and see what that does for you? So he goes back to Africa, back to that little clearing where there's Tarzan painting stripes on the zebras. And he says, hey, Tarzan, man, are you still painting? You know what, never mind. I did what you said. I got the bird, but it's just, it's not working for me. What do I do? And so Tarzan says, okay, last time, here's what you do. You go to last spot, you find rarest bird of all, and you capture it and sell it for money. And so he goes to the last spot, and he's waiting, and he waits for 3 years. And he waits, and finally, after 3 years, this bird comes. And he jumps on it, and he captures it, and he takes it back, and he sells it for infinite money. Unlimited houses, boats, cars. Women are lining up just to say hi to him. He buys the company that he used to work for. And he's like, I'm missing one thing. Tarzan. Tarzan is the reason why I'm so happy. So he gets on an airplane, goes back to Africa, through the jungle, right to that clearing, where Tarzan's still sitting there painting stripes on zebras. And he goes up to him and he goes, Tarzan, you've made me infinitely wealthy. I'm extremely happy. I'll be happy for the rest of my life if you come back and live with me. And Tarzan says, no. And he's like, oh, why not? He says, because Tarzan stripes forever.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light?
Tars and stripes. You mean to tell me that you just wasted all that time on Tars and Stripes?